Alright, well, I got looking at this after I stopped the last video, and there are a few problems with it, a few more things we can clean up. So, first off, if look at the front end here, we render it, we get some pulling here. A lot of that has to do with, move this over here. A lot of this has to do with this sharp corner here. It's kind of a tight turn to be in the same smoothing group. And the other part is these polys are way too long. So what I'll do first is to grab all these and connect them. Then I'm going to grab this guy here and I'm going to loop around. I'm going to turn this into 3 edges instead of just the single one. So I use the Chamfer Tool. Use the settings here. And what that's going to do is round that corner. You can see how it's nice and round here now. And get it in roughly the same position, render it again. And that's done a lot better. This pulling is a lot less. So, I mean, I'm only going to be able to do so good transitioning from square to round. Tell you what, let me back that up one step because I want to do this cleanup at the bottom here first. So I'm going to pick all these verts. Yeah, right here along the transition. And I'm going to collapse these verts. And that's basically just making all these come in and converge to a single point to save out on polys. So I'm going to go to the Edges tool or selection. I'm going to select everything but this center guy here. And then I'm going to hit loop. And that's going to drag through right to the very end. You can see that they're not really doing anything for the shape. Those are all pretty flat. So I'm going to hit Control Backspace. The shape didn't really change much, if at all. By keeping the middle, we're keeping this a 4, this a 4, and all of these would be, you know, not too long a poly. What's left to do here is to make a little more. I don't have back facing on, so I need to deselect some stuff. Let's make a better transition here. So I'm going to go to Edges, slide these in like so. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to select this corner where everything is going crazy. Actually, let me select the edge and then loop. Might do something a little wacky right here, we'll see. And it did. It created a ton of stuff. Thought I was saving myself some work doing it in the order I did. Not so much. But it's not too bad. I'll just grab all these guys here. And we're going to hit collapse. No, okay. So let's just collapse all of these guys. Okay, that worked. And now it's moved quite a bit, so Alt X, make sure that it's in line with the middle here. Whoops. I have to turn off my constraints. I have to remember to do that. Okay, so that's back in line. And we reduce these polys. Well, at least some of them we have. So now we got a better transition here. Things look a lot better. At least I think they do. Yeah, I don't think it's anything that will be noticeable in RealFlight. Okay, now the other thing is across the top here we have some edges that aren't really doing any work. These two edges that are coming through here. But we can't really mess with this because we're trying to match up to the windshield. So I'm going to collapse this single row down here. And I'm going to grab this edge and this edge. I'm going to loop. It's going to grab all the way down to the point. Control backspace. And we've removed a few more polys. Maybe, probably about 30 polys there. And I'm seeing some problems in continuity here. And I'm not really sure why that is. You can see I got a nice straight edge here, and then this one jogs over. So I've obviously messed something up. So I'm going to pop my symmetry out, which continues to be a problem for me. And I'm going to move that to center. I'll take a look, and now this has the mistake. I'm going to flip it. They should both clean up. 0.01, that makes sure that it welds and collapse. There we go. Alright. So the next thing we want to do here is bring out the drawings again. We can see that we're following really nicely. And from this point, I'm going to create this the tail section here. There's lots of different ways you can do it. What I'm gonna do is just use a cylinder. I could draw that out with a spline or whatever. But no, I'm gonna use this method here. So I'm gonna bring this down so that it's divided with just a center line. Make it nice and thin. I'm going to rotate this up so I can get a feel for what I'm going for, and I'm going to move it into the center line just using X, and then using these handles I'm going to kind of just okay. I'm going to need to move its pivot to the center by effect pivot only, and center, and then recenter it up, and then I'm right in the center of the model here. And if I go into the top view, I'm wanting this thickness here, so let's just go to the scale tool. I'm going to scale it so it's that thick, and that'll do it. Okay, now I'm going to lift it up. Let me put some more edges on it here. So let's bump this up to say 23 sides, 24 sides. Let's make that an even number. And then I'm going to move this center vert so that it's centered up on the edge there, like so. Make this an editable poly and turn on the verts here and just select the edges and just start going, making this fit the shape, trying to keep the general spacing that it has already for the most part. You're going to get some weird folding until you let go. You can see this will fold over, but as soon as you let go, everything snaps into place. Just has to figure out what you're trying to do. Let's grab a couple here, and probably help if I hid the fuselage. Go back here. Okay. Go right back here to the center. I'm going to start working in this direction now. I'm going to grab all of these and pull them way down, get them out of the way. And let's just make sure all of these are in the same spot. Okay. Okay, so we've shaped that cylinder into what we're looking for. Before we put any resolution on it, let's just see if we can shrink it down a little bit. Oop. And these 3 divisions aren't really going to be enough to make this look right. So I will probably scale it back up a little bit just so there's a little bit of a turn. I'm going to go to the bevel tool and pull out one more section and then shrink that section in. And then if need be, we'll shrink it in a little bit, the whole thing. And we do need to. Okay. So now while it's simple here, we're going to select these 2 here and put them into smoothing group 1, which they already are. And then we're going to select all the way around. Well, I guess I could have just selected these 2. Do Control I, and then just select across these guys to get rid of them. And I'll put these in smoothing group 2. And then I'll go here to smoothing group 1. Well, let's select smoothing group 4 first. I'm going to clear that smoothing group. Okay, then we'll go here and select 1 and 2. That's going to bring up everything but these 2 that have been assigned. Control I to get those guys, and we'll turn them into 3. They've also been rounded through this process. So, I'm going to first want to go up here to edges, or vert, sorry, and push these in so they're nice and level with one another. And then move them in like that. Then I'm going to take the scale tool and scale these individually. Okay. So that cylinder is now our tail. And we'll unhide. And we'll just put a custom fit on it first before we split it. Make sure that it's fitting nicely. I'm going to grab the top one so we have some real continuity here. Okay, top looks pretty good. I'm just going to drag that corner down a little bit. And then let's just conform this to the top a little bit, just so it's floating above it. And deselect that center vert, float these guys down, grab them, and float them down, like so. Okay. And I'm quite sure that if I was doing this model in real life, I'd want the vertical to be attached, so I'm going to move this right down in line here. Alright, so now I want to make a connection between these two, so select them both and connect. Select them both and connect. Alright, and this is a big crazy poly, so I want 4, so I'm going to I'm going to skip this guy here and go to that one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 verts. So connect, and if I skip every other one around a curve shape, oops, I want to get rid of that guy. I'll have 4s. So probably should have thought that one out better, but that's okay. We'll use the same center pivot to connect up the back. That's the beauty of back face cull. You can just get underneath it and it gets out of the way. Now I could go through and do the same thing on the other side, or I can use the wonderful symmetry modifier, which I want to pick a new axis, which is going to be this axis, and I want to flip it. So now both sides are even. I thought they would be, but oh, okay, they are. They just look funny. Okay, so that's that. And I'll collapse it yet again. That lets us have rear polys. I keep hitting the wrong tools here. So. Alright, and then I'm going to detach this as the rudder. And I'm just going to name it tilde CS underscore MMR. Main middle rudder, I guess. I'm not really sure what it means. But I'm not going to detach it as clone. I'm going to uncheck both these boxes. That'll make it its own separate object. So what's left to do with that is to, first off, hide everything and take this guy, go to the border tool, select the border there, and we're going to cap it up. So now it's a solid object, and the polygon's not causing any issues, but we're still going to put that into a smoothing group. So what would we put it in? 3, I believe. No? 4? Okay. And we could make the connections here just to make sure that our poly isn't multi-sided. Okay, so that's now a complete object. That's going to be the vertical stabilizer. Okay, and let's hide everything but this guy. And we created a hole again, so we'll cap that up. We'll find out what is the smoothing group of this, and it's 3. We'll make this one 3 as well, continuity's sake. And let's connect it up. Let's put the center here. Connect. Connect. Okay. So one of the things about a rudder is it's going to need to be beveled back on either side so that it can turn. So we will select all the verts here on either side of the midline. Go up to the top, do the same thing. Beautiful. Now we're going to slide these back till we create a nice angle. Alright. Then I just want to select the outside guys and complete this bevel. There we go. So we'll go back and unhide all. Last step to do here would be to move back the joint here just a little bit, just so it's in line with the back, and we have a gap that runs through here. And let me show you how to set a pivot real quick. So now we'll go to the rudder and we'll go to the hierarchy tab, which is right here, and we will adjust its pivot, affect pivot only, and center to object. And let's see if we can align. Yeah, I figured we'd have that issue. We'll move this forward. Actually, that's exactly what we're looking for this. So we're moving it forward to put it right on that hinge line. Put it right in the center of the hinge line here, like so. That way, when now we go to rotate, we can see the rudder working. So that'd be the rudder. Both of these are very close to being what we need for the horizontal. So I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to turn this up 90 degrees. Okay, and let's just call this right main elevator for right now. I guess it doesn't really matter what it's named. And let's move this back so that the inside corner here is right where we want it. That's the way we'll line it up. So it looks like right there is where we want it. And we'll go over here to the side view and we'll hide the fuselage and grab the back portion. I'm just going to move it on down until it's in line with that. Like so. Alright, so now we'll just morph this into what we're looking for. We're just going to select this guy first. It's already got smoothing groups, got a lot of the work done for us, so I'm just going to move this along this one direction. Move these inward so we can see the drawing. It really doesn't matter how crazy you get with how much you move it. Just need it out of the way so you can move it into place. And looks like we could spread this stuff out a little bit too. Need more detail up here in the corner anyways. Now, a lot of times you can make your wing and you can move it back and make your tail pieces from that same wing. But you can see we're doing an RC model where this is flat material. And somehow this got messed up. So okay. So now we're going to take this guy here and move the whole thing over until our point lines up. Like so. Going up completely into the top view and into verts introverted. Let's make this see-through so we can make sure we're doing the right thing. And we'll pull these guys straight back. Boom. I realize I'm not checking this against the fuselage right now. I'll be doing that in a second. Unhide the whole shebang. Looks like this can be pulled back to give some clearance. And I'm just going to push this into the fuselage till that point lines up. Okay, very good. And so now we have a tail piece. So now the easy way here to get this across the other side without, I mean, you could take this here, click on the mirror button, and you'll get a copy. You can OK that, and then you can move it over into place. But if you're off by just a fraction, it's not going to be what you're looking for. So if you go to the hierarchy tab and you go all the way down here to use working pivot, and then you mirror, you can see that it's going to mirror perfectly across the X because the working pivot is set at the center of the X. So there you have it. Now we have the tail section completed, and we can make some wings. So what I usually do is I like to loft the wing, and I have a hard time getting the line tool to work in the left-hand view. I'll try it, but it just never seems to work for me. So let me go to the line tool here and see if it'll even work. Okay, great, it did. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start at the tail, and matter of fact, let me zoom in. I'm going to start at the top corner of the tail, and then I'm going to go around here. Say just a few clicks. And what you don't want to do is click and drag. You click and drag, you're going to create a Bezier corner. And that Bezier corner has many verts inside of it, so even though it won't show it here. I've added in a lot of extra resolution here around the leading edge, and now I'm going to try to keep my verts aligned over one another, or my, whatever these are called, these points, nodes. Okay, I'm going to zoom in again here, and I'm going to click right below this guy and straight up to him. So now I've created a line. That's very good. And I'm going to go from the bottom here, right here in the center. I'm going to create a new line, holding Shift. I go right out here to the edge before the tip of the wing. Okay. Now I'm going to, with that selected, I'm going to go to over here to the Geometry tab, and I'm going to go to, oh, you know what? No, I'm not. What do I want to do here? I think I'm forgetting. It's been a while since I've worked on planes. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's in Compound Objects, sorry. So we're going to go here to the Create tab, go to Geometry, go to Compound Objects, and we want it to loft. And since we have the path selected, the straight line would be the path, I'm going to click on Get Shape, and I'm just going to click on the airfoil shape that we made. Okay, so there we have the wing, and the wing is just loaded with edges unnecessarily. So what I want to do is click over here to the Modify tab, and let's go down to Skin Parameters, and I'm going to say that the shape steps are way too high, and the path steps need to be on 0. You can see that this is added in these extra path steps, but they're not really helping me. They're not helping change the shape. They're just steps being added in. So I'm going to bring those down to 0 as well. Okay. And that gives me a wing shape. So what needs to happen here is to go up here to Loft and click on Editable Poly. And put this, we'll see what smoothing does for it, because it looks kind of edgy right now. So we're going to put everything around the top and bottom, because they go around a nice smooth front, not the trailing edge, because there's two 90-degree corners on it. We're going to clear all those, and we're going to put that into its own smoothing group. We're going to clear this, we'll put that into smoothing group 3, because I'd like the two tips here to be in smoothing group 2. Okay, so it may be getting into time where we need to move the model and everything up above the shape. We can see that our loft has created a little bit of a small wing. We're just going to stretch it out just a little bit. Also, I'd like to get the pivot for my wing right to be right in the center. So I'm going to let's see. I'm going to have the Move tool on, and I'd like to snap it to the center of a face, because I want it to be right here at the center of this face. Oh, effect pivot only. Sorry. And I need to turn snaps on. Pick this face here, boom. Okay, now I'm going to turn the effect pivot only off, turn off the snaps, and I'm going to move this wing into the dead center, it was very close, but just want to make sure. Alt X, and looks like it's falling really good right before that tip. I'm going to add in some resolution here for the aileron, which can't really tell how far it goes. Looks like it's just here at this section. There's a doubler here. Yeah, this is the thickest section. So we're looking at this being the aileron. So I need some actual resolution here for that. So I'm gonna go to edges, and I'll roll across these edges here. I'm just going to connect them, and then holding Control, going over to Vertex and turning on Edge. I'm going to go up and put that right on the back edge of this here. Good. Now I'm going to make a selection here and connect. Hold Control and move into verts with the edge on, and I'm going to move this over to where the doubler is, which is right here. Okay, so basically what we've done here is created some polys to turn into our aileron. I don't think there's any flaps on this model. I will find out though. But before we cut that out, we're going to want to make this tip here. So there's a lot of different ways to make the tip. So what I'm going to firstly do is I'm going to take the model, everything we've made for the model here, okay, and I'm going to just lift that up. Oh, sorry, with the rear or side view. Sorry. Oops. Grab that side view, bring it up, just so the wheel is sitting on top of this plane here. I'm going to take this side view and I'm going to move it off out of the way. G to get rid of grid. Okay, so let me hide that selection, and I'm going to move the wing into its correct position. U for orthographic mode. And it looks like I can slide it up a little bit in this view. I wouldn't so much trust that in other views, but in this view at least. And the wing looks a little bit fatter to me, so I'm going to adjust that. I got that fitting in there fairly nice. And now I can select this line, which is no longer needed. And this line as well. And I can see I forgot this. I'm not going to chance that I'll move it in the right spot or wrong spot, so I'm just going to go and do the same thing. Hierarchy tab, use working pivot, and I'll mirror that over. That gets it back in the correct position. Okay, so now what I need to do is I want to connect up these edges firstly, so I'm just going to grab these and connect them from top to bottom. Connect, connect, connect. It's a tedious process, you know. I happen to enjoy it myself, but I could see where some would not enjoy it. So I'm going to select just that single edge there. I'm going to hit ring. It's going to go all the way around. We don't want any of these guys selected. We just want the very end. Okay. And I'm going to hit connect. And that's going to put an edge through everything. You can see up front here we've created a four-sided poly by not going all the way through, which we could go all the way through anyways. And I'm going to hold on to control while I select verts and turn off edge and pull this out. Little alt text gives me an idea of what I'm doing, and U to get right over top of the model. And by aligning to the side, I've messed up what I'm doing here on this view. But so this guy's pretty much where he needs to go. This guy's where he needs to go. I'm going to move these just straight in or out just to get the shape. Just want the shape of this wingtip. Yeah, it's obviously a problem with the drawing. Okay, so I'm not really liking that this has a very giant, really giant poly here, so I'm going to select it like so and go into verts. Oops. I'm going to connect and then hit control and select vertex. And I'm going to get some roundness out of it in all directions, so I'm going to scale, bring this up just to round the wing out kind of nicely. Okay, and then back into this and move it out. Alright, so now we've got kind of a flat tapered thing here. Not a problem. What we're going to do at this point is select that edge there and ring, and make sure that that's all we're selecting. Matter of fact, I should have selected these edges as well and ringed. I want to deselect these two edges. Okay, so now I'm going to just do a simple connect, a single connect here, and I'm going to deselect the very front ones good. And control over to verts and scale. Not really sure why it's selected way over there. Have to investigate that. I'm going to swell these up. Now see, I never understand why some of this stuff happens, but alright, and then I'm going to move these guys out. You know, I'm going to have the same issue as before, and this normally works for me quite well. And I'm just out of practice, I believe. I haven't really made models in a while. If I can just get this right, I'm sure that the next step will work well for me. I could just work on the top of this model here and worry about work on the top of the model, not have to worry about it too much, and just do a symmetry on it, and that would give me what I'm looking for, top and bottom. So I probably will do that after I get this rounded as I'd like. So I'm just looking for it to be kind of in the middle between here and the center line. Okay. Now I'm going to select everything but the last guy here, and I'm just going to chamfer. And the chamfer is not following its normal route either. So let me just see what this looks like solid. I guess I don't mind tweaking it slowly like this. Okay, so I've imparted some angle here that I didn't want to. That's going to be a bit of an issue. Gotta turn off snap so I can move in small increments. Just to center that up. Alright. I'm a rambler, by the way. No. I'm sure everybody can tell that. So I'm just going to end up hand tweaking it, because really I'm only going to work on this one wingtip, and it's going to become every other wingtip. So much of an issue. So let's just add this. This looks pretty good. Let's add this into group 1 and see how it smooths. Render it out, and it looks like it worked pretty well. Okay, so that would be this wing here. So now I'm going to go to Hierarchy tab, and I'm going to say use working pivot, and I'm going to mirror copy this out. I'm going to grab the other one. I'm going to hold shift and pull up to create a copy of these two wings. I'm going to hit unhide all and go to the left view, make sure it's orthographic, and I'm going to slide this guy into that slot with the wing like so. Okay, so it looks like we have a model going here, you know. And I don't want to clean some of this up. I'll get this cleaned up one of these next videos. So that's definitely not how this is going to end up looking for me. Probably need to pull this up a little. So I'm going to line this edge with that edge. Okay, so now one neat little way of doing things would be to take these two wings that I have now, and I'm going to create a copy of them. Not an instance, a copy. Okay, and take the ones these ones here that are already selected, and I'm just going to hide that selection. And I'm going to do some cleanup on them. So I'm going to hide unselected. You can see that these both have a poly on the inside there that needs to go. So I'm going to select each one in turn, grabbing just that poly, deleting it. Okay, and then I'm going to attach both wings together. Then I'll find the border by this selects the actual border between them, because none of these verts are sealed. So this is a quick way of selecting all the verts. You can easily do this too. This works too. Actually, I mean, sometimes this works better. In this situation, just loop selecting them is fine. But if you grab the border tool, it grabs all those edges, and holding Control and verts, and go to the weld tool, saying 0.01. We get this, and then what I want to do is go over to the edges again and Control backspace and get rid of that line there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is a Boolean, and I'm going to I think I'll just trace the wing shape onto the fuselage so that I can try to make a cutout. So I'm going to select the fuselage, and I'm going to go here to Compound Objects and go to Pro Boolean, and I'm going to go to Imprint here under Parameters, and then it wants me to start picking what's going to actually make the cut or the drawing. So I'll select the wing, and it did not work. So I'm going to back that off. Let's see what happens if I just do a subtraction. Oh, I see what I did wrong. So this is loft 6. I want loft 01 to hide. There we go. That's what happened. I'll do an imprint again and see how well it worked. And let's imprint by just selecting it. Okay. All right. So that left a cut here, and I just need to heal some of this stuff up. So we're going to reconvert this back into a poly. And when we turn this on, you're going to see, oh crap, there's a whole bunch of new edges and stuff. That's fine. I'm just going to target weld, do some target welding here. Okay, so first off, I can see that I need to create some edges here to connect these up, and I'm going to target weld this in. I'm only going to work on 1/2. I'll target weld this guy down. Just like both of these, oops, just like both of these guys here, and I'm going to collapse. Okay, and target weld again. Target welding this up to this, and this down to this. Just don't need this much resolution at all. That looks fairly decent. This can go to here. This can go to here. This can go here, and that can go there. So you can see what's going on here. I'm basically just cleaning up all this edge work. So I'm gonna move that one up. Move this one over. Okay. So now I need to, I guess, just cut this guy over here. Alright, great. So now let's just do a symmetry. Let's go back to turn these off here. Go back to the mirror, which I've screwed up again. Move that back, and we have no need for a flip because I worked on the correct side. And I'm going to, what am I going to do? Okay, yeah, I'll go back to edit poly, and I'll turn on this end result. And let me get rid of the cage. Coming up on the end of this video for sure. So, alright, I'm going to get rid of all of these edges here. Like so, and control backspace. And I need to unhide all and see how well it fits. And now I'm gonna fit this to the wing, I believe. Okay, so now I'm gonna hide everything else. And I'm just going to select everything that's within the imprint. Everything we've cleaned up. Like so. And I'm just going to detach this just to save it. Excuse me. And then I'll bring back the wing. I'm going to grab this object there and hide that selection. Let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, looks like possibly how they might have done the belly pan in the RC model. It looks pretty good. So I'm okay with this. I'm going to unhide everything and select that piece and get rid of it. So now we got a good transition here and the wing looks nice. Last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to seal up, having issues. I'm going to seal up this hole. So I need to first collapse this so that I've got a solid object and edges, and just start sealing up the edges. This one might go over a piece because I definitely need to do some cleanup that's needed to make this just look right. Okay, we've got some weird geometry problems here. We'll get them solved though. I'm just doing this so that I can create what is a kind of a realistic joint between the fuselage and the wing. Just adds a little bit of realism to it. Not many people will notice it probably, and it's probably overkill in a lot of people's books. Looks like we're going to be able to fix this just fine, fairly fine. It's going to come to quite a sharp point, and I'll end up putting a square on that. So what do I do here? I'm going to go back to edge. I'm going to target weld this down. I believe it was a mistake anyways. Okay. And then I want to continue to bridge these edges. So sometimes it just takes a long time to get some stuff done. Sometimes it's quick, you know, what you gotta do. Okay, bridge that up, and then I'm just gonna go to the border tool for now. We'll make this all look better at some point, but for now I just want to seal up the geometry. Go to polygon and select the poly and shift select the one next to it, and you'll get what you're looking for this way. So we want to make this 2. We'll make those 3. Okay, we're going to go back to vert mode before I finish up here, and we really need to fix up this side here, so I'm gonna do some connections. Just to get these into 4s. Go up here, connect this, and I'll connect this. This one's going to come back, connect here, and that's really important to keep these down to 4 per side. You can see you start getting issues. If I cut this guy here to here, the issue gets a little, or it goes away. Okay, so this side's healed up. So now I'm just going to turn off vertex and put a symmetry modifier on it, and I have to open that mirror up yet again, moving it to center, and this time flipping. Okay. And I'll collapse that modifier down. Okay, so you want to kind of take a look at that joint in a render. It just flows into the fuselage so much better when the fuselage meets it on every vert. So that's just a good thing. Okay, so that's flying surfaces, so it looks pretty good. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.